Once there was a man. He had a vision for a whole new type of game that didn't rely on shooting everything in sight. Once there was a man. The Metal Gear series he created would be met with critical acclaim, confronting players with such topics as censorship, nuclear proliferation, democracy, among many others. Once there was a man. In 2015, he split from Konami, causing Konami to erase his name from the box art of the Phantom Pain and blocking him from attending the Game Awards to collect the award for the game he helped create, you small-brained, petty-minded arse-hats! Once there was a man. This game is his latest.
Too close.
I really wish that people had stopped trying to categorize this game. Seriously, everyone seems to be obsessed with finding the pigeonhole that this game goes into. Do they not realize that this is made by the guy who did Metal Gear? Who effectively created the stealth action genre? One of the people who changed the way we think about video games. Stop trying to pigeonhole it. That said, this game could easily be categorized as Postman Apocalypse Simulator 2019. In true Kojima style, to say too much about this game would spoil it. Suffice to say, you are a postman. Yes, that's right, I said a postman. In a world left broken by an event known as the Death Stranding. Your goal is to reconnect people by delivering supplies while hooking them into the chiral network. You get some basic supplies, ladders, anchor ropes that let you climb up or down awkward terrain. The game starts very slowly. You're going to have to give it some time before it actually gets interesting. You know how postmen deliver through various weather conditions? The rain in this place makes an avalanche look like a snowflake. Barely worth brushing off. The only weather condition is rain. Well, okay, there's snow as well. But this isn't your usual downpour. Anything the rain lands on experiences accelerated time. People, cargo containers, anything that gets directly rained on ages and therefore degrades rapidly. It's kind of like extremely concentrated acid rain. Now think about going outside without a raincoat on.
Sam! Shut up. Don't even breathe.
The rain corrodes everything it touches, and I wouldn't mind, but it's not even your biggest problem. Your biggest problem are BTs. No, not the phone company. These things. I have a limited understanding of what's happening here, but from what I can gather, making noise near them is a bad thing. One of the reasons some people don't like this game, of course, is there's a lot of walking. A lot. Especially at the beginning.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Of course, one of the problems with carrying so much weight is that a lot of cargo containers stack vertically, which means your centre of balance is higher, which means that if you try to turn a tight corner, especially on slippery or unstable terrain, you will go straight over. How am I going to explain this to the wedding planner? You could very easily get ticked off by all the walking, which is why I encourage you to stick with it through the first few hours. Of course, when I say few, I mean 6 to 8 hours. And then you cross the lake on the boat and you enter episode 3 and this happens. Yeah, I know, more of the same. But here's the thing. Almost every major delivery you do from now on to a new location earns you a blueprint for a new piece of gear. You get access to a bike near the end of the first area, but have to leave it behind when you cross the lake. Bugger! But then you get the blueprint to make your own, which is a good thing because the new area is huge. you get a floating platform to carry more weight around on foot. Weapons! It takes ages, but the game does indeed have combat. You just have to walk a long way to find it.
We can't let that happen. You've got to deal with that BT right now. Opening fire. Light him up.
A truck carries loads of cargo. It's just not the most agile of vehicles. You'll have to repair the road network to make proper use of it. In addition to BTs, not that one, you'll have to contend with mules. If anyone works out what either BT or mule stands for, let me know. But the mules are basically like rogue postmen. They steal your cargo if you give them half a chance. Fortunately, they're pretty easy to beat up. It's not just blueprints though. Once you make the main delivery run to the weather station, you start getting weather data on the map, like where the rain falls and where the strong winds are. It's quite helpful for you to be able to plan your route ahead of time and not wonder if you're just going to blunder into a storm. You can build a selection of structures which will prove useful. You just have to make sure you put them in the right place.
Okay.
Construction complete.
And for some reason, whenever you deliver cargo to someone, you get likes. Likes. This is the future, people. We don't use the barter system anymore. I have a parcel for an Edwin Ville. Yep, that's me. Here you go. Thanks. How much do I owe you? Well, there'll be 40 likes, please. What? 40 likes, please. Thank you. Have a nice day. The future's fucking weird. If you have an internet, I strongly recommend you connect. Other players do not appear in your game, but their structures will, as will any cargo they lose during their games. Vehicles and other resources can be shared. Using another player's structure confers more likes on them, and if they use your structures, you gain likes. If you move too far from your cargo, you lose it. Another player could return it for you. Cargo from your game you can't be bothered to fully return to where it needs to go could be dropped off somewhere else for someone else to deliver. But because there's no direct interaction between you and another player, because even if you delete one of their structures from your game, it doesn't affect their structure in their game. It's not possible to grief anybody because you can't affect their game and they can't affect yours. The only thing that passes between you is positive stuff. The entire experience is 100% positive. It's actually quite astounding.
That's it, Lisa. Don't be shy. Just like we used to. Come on. Keep up. Sorry. Did I wake you up?
Just like with people trying to pigeonhole the game, it's kind of difficult to give this game a score because there are some things you will probably like, the typical Kojima style storytelling, and then there are other things you probably won't like the insane amount of walking you have to do. This game isn't focused on action or combat, it's trying to push this idea of connections, and the game does bang on and on about connection making. But ultimately, I think that Death Stranding deserves an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give it an 8. I do think it's a very good game. I think it's a great game. And you just have to make it past that initial section where it's really slow. Once you hit episode 3 on the other side of the lake, then you're away. Then you start getting more stuff to play around with. And the game feels like it opens up a lot more. You just have to push through that initial slow bit, and even after that, yeah, there's still a lot of walking involved. It won't be to everyone's cup of tea. Some people will call it a walking simulator, and it is a fair criticism, to be honest. But it is a very well put together game, and I am still enjoying it because it's got Kojima's fingerprints all over it, and that's always good for a play. Okay, that's it for me. That's Death Stranding, 8 out of 10. Great game. Although it is a difficult recommend, I will say that. What did you think of my review? Leave a like or dislike down below. What did you think of the game? Do you like this so-called strand genre that the back of the box seems to think the game's creating? I'm a bit iffy about that point myself. But what do you think of it overall? Is the walking irritating? Are you liking the storytelling, etc.? Leave a comment down below. And if you can't get enough of my voice, feel free to subscribe, or if you want to inflict me on someone else, you can always share. See you next time. I hope I made it off the camera, because that was kind of the point. Oh, I forgot to... Sorry, I'm navigating through the menus. I've just realised I should have locked the exposure. Colours will have been going crazy on it. Right, now it's locked. I should have locked the zoom as well, the focus, because that sometimes goes out of whack. I didn't pick up Per, or did I? I'm gonna have to do that again. I didn't have the kitty. Right, that's better. Of course, one of the problems with carrying so much... I actually did just crash into the wall.